Gentlemen, it is Tuesday. It is a little past 6:30, but not too much. And that means only one thing.
We're fashionably late.
We are fashionably late. But the RankKing's Court is live on Twitch, 6:30. What it do, boys? We got the usuals in the house, the Oracle Vo, and Trust. I'm calling you.
I love it.
Might as well. And we have Trusted Knight Greg in the house as well.
I don't like that one.
I love how we've transitioned so much. Now we're the usuals. Like I feel like the usual suspects.
You're always here, damn it. And we have a wonderful guest with us today. Basically the whole reason that this show right now, not the RankKing's Court, but the fantasy football show is happening for the RankKing's Court. The guy that got me into it in the first place, our first year of college. Man, Josh Wagner, welcome.
Yeah, happy to be here, man. I guess those early days when you were, talking about when you got into fantasy with the crew of 62-32 Brook Trout, let me just say that league was an absolute abomination. It was an 8-team league, and there were just so many players coming and going. Someone dropped Peyton Manning that year when he was with Denver. I mean, that's a hell of an introduction. But, yeah, happy to be on, man. It's July. I'm sorry, fantasy baseball fans, but it's fantasy football season now. Yeah. It's time to get into it. Start the best balls, start the dynasty drafts. We already did ours, but full swing, man. July 4th, things get started.
Josh, I'm actually really glad you said introduction because it just so happens that the RankKing's Court is live today from Union Fitness Studios, located on the North Shore of Pittsburgh. Union Fitness is more than a traditional gym. It's a place where you can transform yourself inside and out. With a variety of classes based around fitness, yoga, strength, and performance training. At Union Fitness, they believe that it is their duty to hold themselves and their clients to a higher standard. They practice what they preach and uphold the values that make Union Fitness the community that it is. Go to unionfitness.com today to sign up for a consultation through Union, their strength.
Oh, Bo, damn it, you're like, oh, God damn it.
Still working on this show here.
Bo has a lot going on right now. Like, he's allowed to have a pass right now, okay? Don't.
Little delayed. There was a guy having a interview in the room, I guess.
Yeah,
we
ran into some issues with possibly the staff of our studio, but we'll adjust that.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
We're here. Austin's here. Josh is here. Cody's here.
Exactly. We're fine.
Is it weird that we've had 3 guests that are named Josh?
Yeah.
Dude, I was just figuring this out this past weekend. We know way too many Joshes.
Yeah.
Way too many.
Do you actually go by Josh or do you go by nickname?
I mean, a lot of people have called me Wags over the years. Okay. It really just depends, but I'll answer anything. Josh, Wags, shithead. I mean, whatever.
Shithead.
That's what we call Austin.
Yeah, like really, come on.
I might have said that a couple of times in college. I'm not entirely sure. Who the hell
Austin, that's horrible of you. It's not nice to call people names.
All right. Well, now that the mom chat is over, let's get. I don't want to really spend too much time.
Boy, that was sexy.
Oh, I know, that was electric. Throbbing right now. But here's the thing. Shark talk aside, let's get into exactly why we're here, okay? The fantasy football season is greatly approaching with so many implications, especially for this season. And I know that Josh, being a big sports guy, and I'll let you plug a little bit right now, Josh, if you want, exactly what you do.
Yeah, I mean, Matt Deutsch, I'm sure he's not listening, but my program director over at SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio. I'd be remiss if I didn't plug the channel and say that we are 24/7 fantasy football from now until basically the Super Bowl. So you can check us out there, Series 210 XM87 anytime you want on the SXM app. And, being on a side channel, we switched from SiriusXM app to SXM app, and it sounds terrible, and I don't know what market research, led to that. I'm sorry, higher ups, if you hear this and I'm not, working anymore in a week, but sounds terrible. But yeah, so we're doing a lot of fantasy football right now. I've been at the beach for the past week, so I've kind of missed the, authentic rollout of everything. But as Austin knows, I always have my ear, to the ground. We know what's going on. I'm in a best ball draft right now with a bunch of guys, so it really never stops. But it's July, and now we're getting after it.
Josh, real quick, since you are like a part of the fantasy football community and you're so heavy involved in it, do you have a preferred style league that you like? Because I know a lot of people go with standard, they go with PPR, they go with dynasty, with all that, keeper. Anything that you prefer particularly?
I mean, it really depends. Each league really has their benefits. I'm a big fan of best ball just because I'm a degenerate and I like to constantly draft and throw money around.
There you go.
But dynasty has its perks, but the traditional redraft league with people tends to be the one that's the most popular in the nation and the one I like the most as well. You got your weekly trash talk. You get together for a draft and you just get absolutely wrecked for 3 days and try and, take notes while you're rolling a J for somebody. I mean, it always just gets messed up. And, Austin knows what I'm talking about in that regard. But it's always a good time doing the redraft league. So I'll go ahead and say that. But Dynasty's a close number 2.
How many years has it been, buddy? Probably since our freshman year of college that we've been in literally every single fantasy league together since.
Yeah, I mean, let's see, we graduated in 17, so it's already 2021, which is a poor reminder. Thank you for bringing it up. But yeah, I mean, this league's probably going on 6-7 years. It's the most competitive it's ever been, I'll say that much.
Yeah.
So that's always nice. And my team this year was actually really good. So, and it's the only league I haven't won, Austin. I think I've said that pretty much every year, but I'll be running and gunning this season, and we'll see what happens. I got a couple of sleepers. I'm ready.
It's definitely going to be interesting to say the least. Just so you guys know, this is the league where we have the crazy punishments in that you guys are always and awing about. And man, I think that there's definitely some surprises in for this season for us, so to speak.
Well, and we have a friend who's a masochist who just does all the punishments in one for attention. I don't know why he does that, but
is that Austin?
But yeah, people are getting their hair dyed blonde.
Don't you ever put my name in a goddamn league. And I don't think I've ever come in the bottom of this entire league. I've always been in like the top 4 at least.
I have finished last.
It's gonna happen this year. I really, really want him
I'm gonna clip that so when it happens, we'll
shut your
back and
mouth.
forth.
Just put it on a loop for 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's not waste any more time, guys. If you guys are ready, I am. Let's jump into our first radical ranking of the evening. Alrighty. So the first radical ranking of the evening, I did this last year, and I want to clarify this shit before I get going with it. Because
Austin, real quick before you do that, Deke in the comments says to turn your mic around and to talk into the volume button.
That would definitely help. Still getting used to this thing.
They're confusing. They are confusing.
Yeah, they are. We'll give you a pass on that one. It's brand new.
All right, so see if that works. D, all
He said
good?
he did the same thing, so.
Yeah.
So I did this ranking last year for a top 10, and apparently people didn't understand the premise of it. The thing is the top players of fantasy to avoid. Now, when I say avoid, it mostly goes off of their ADP. So when I had like Le'Veon Bell on there for the Jets at the time at number 3, and then I draft him because he falls like 2 rounds later than he was supposed to be, that's an avoid at the time.
Yeah, at the time.
You did get some heat for that. I will give you credit.
Drafted
Josh,
like
he made
4
this
guys
list.
from that damn thing.
Josh, he made this list where he said players to avoid, and then he goes out and picks all the players that he said to avoid.
Yeah, and here's the thing, like, we go over this with a lot of our hosts too, because our hosts are on 5 days a week from now until draft season ends, and to be honest, everything has a price. Not just in life, but also with fantasy football players. They're a commodity. If you see a guy like Le'Veon Bell and you've seen what he has done, I mean, obviously he was terrible this season, so any kind of investment in him would have been bad. But yeah, I mean, everybody has a good price. If you got a guy with an ADP of the second round, he falls to the 4th or 5th, and you don't take him, that's just not good drafting. But Le'Veon Bell is bad, so Austin, shame on you.
Shit, I'm just saying, because I drafted like Stephon Diggs when he was way past his ADP. I drafted Melvin Gordon, which was way past his ADP. So, but yes, These are the people, because I know they're going to fall, okay? And people are going to not pay attention to that, and they're going to take them right away. And I know the first name is going to be a huge fucking issue, so let's get into it. Number 5, the Saints wide receiver, Michael Thomas.
I feel like this is very obvious.
I don't know. I'm getting a lip roll from Josh over there. I don't know.
I mean, I think it depends who the quarterback ends up being. Sean Payton will never tell us because he's a giant prick. But,
right.
If it ends up being Jameis Winston, I mean, we have a track record of 2 years ago, this guy throwing 30 touchdowns. He threw 30 picks, but that doesn't matter if you own Michael Thomas.
That was also.
So this is a guy who can air it out. That doesn't necessarily concern me.
Yeah, I mean, this is also before he got his LASIK eye surgery. So hopefully.
That too.
See,
and he's also eating lots of crab legs, Austin.
That's a lot
Don't
of
forget.
crab legs, man. That's a lot of crab legs.
Deke doesn't like this one, Austin.
Okay, so is he just saying I don't like it, or does he give a
He
reason?
said, OMG, Austin, what the hell?
And he did it in all caps too, with like 6 exclamation points. So yeah, he's very anal about this one.
Well, okay, so you look at obviously what happened last year, and that injury concern, it always creeps up on anybody that's had an injury, But I don't think the only person I really am not concerned with drafting because of injury is Christian McCaffrey, obviously at number 1. But Thomas was hurt with an ankle injury for a majority of the last season. He missed all of maybe 10, 11 games because of an ankle issue in week 1. That always creeps in. But Josh has a point. If it is Jameis Winston, I think people are going to want to draft him ahead. But if it is Taysom Hill, God help him. God help him, because his stats will not be what they were. They just won't. And I think that's what the people are banking on. I think they're banking on that Jameis Winston is going to start over Taysom Hill. But as we've seen, Sean Payton thinks that Taysom Hill is the best thing since sliced bread. Being an Alvin Kamara owner, it was so frustrating knowing that this idiot was on the field missing about 50% of his throws and running half the time. It just was not a good move for wide receivers. I don't know. That's my whole take on it.
It's a solid take, Austin. I'm not hating you on it. I also think a lot of people are kind of going to be iffy about Michael Thomas just because of the fact that they don't know what the quarterback carousel in New Orleans is going to be like. So naturally, I feel like he's going to fall. I agree with you on that.
They could start what's his name that they drafted for all the hell I know. I forget his name off the top of my head because he was like a weird pick. But they drafted a quarterback. I know the Saints did. So who the hell knows? Let's hit number 4. This should be a more obvious one. Tampa Bay Bucks running back Leonard Fournette. I don't know if you guys paid attention to who they signed, but Giovanni Bernard is now a running back in Tampa Bay. And Leonard Fournette was basically on the field for pass catch purposes. Giovanni Bernard is a very good pass catch running back despite being on a shit team like the Bengals. Shout out Keaton for how many years?
You just had to throw that.
That was fun.
I'll say it to the end of time. I hate the Cincinnati Bengals. Shit.
Austin, Deke said the Saints drafted Ian Book from Notre Dame.
Ian Book, that's right. Thank you. So they could start him for all I know.
Easy to forget about Ian Book. He's pretty bad.
But yes, we have.
You don't strike me as a Notre Dame fan.
I mean, I'm just a realist. I mean, I like Pitt, so I naturally don't like Notre Dame very much.
Let's go! Let's go! Season ticket holders, baby.
There you go.
Yeah.
You guys need more out there. It's pretty sparse in Heinz Field most weeks.
We enjoy
That's why
it.
you wear yellow shirts, so you blend in.
Exactly.
There you go.
Chameleon type.
But yeah, we have Leonard Fournette in this situation. I mean, Ronald Jones, despite not playing for a lot of the season, did very well in numbers of the rushing category. And then you had Leonard Fournette that came in as essentially what Tom Brady has always done his entire career, which is throw to running backs. But now you have Giovanni Bernard out there. And I don't know about you guys, but Fournette, as big as he is, can't run as fast as Jones. He also can't catch as well as Giovanni Bernard, and I think it's going to drastically affect his fantasy perspective.
They also still have Keyshawn Vaughn, too. Don't forget about that as well.
When the hell is he going to do something? I lost a bet for that shit.
Hey, watch your mouth. I have dynasty shares, Austin. Let's wait our time here.
Hey, listen, so I took a bet last year, which I still owe my still OD for, because we bet a 30 rack that I said Keyshawn Vaughn would have better numbers, I think. Better numbers than what? Ronald Jones or Leonard Fournette? I'm not sure which one. But, yeah, I drastically screwed that shit up. Oh, it was Ronald Jones because they had not signed Fournette yet.
Yep.
So, yeah, as soon as they signed Fournette, I knew that Keyshawn Vaughn was a touch in the damn field. So I still owe Deke a 30 rack for that. Name your beer, D. Let me know. Number 3, Cleveland Browns wide receiver, Odell Beckham Jr.
Deke said Madoff.
Madoff.
They even make 30 racks of that shit.
Get out your checkbook, buddy.
They might, for all we know.
5 6-packs spent over $200. Good shit.
Austin,
I've seen 24 packs. That'll work.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Austin, I don't hate this one because I personally got dicked over last year with OBJ, mainly because he got hurt. I will give you that. Even earlier in the season, he wasn't lighting people up, but I would also argue it's because Cleveland transitioned to more of a run-first attack as well, so Baker wasn't in shotgun as often as he was previously.
Well, even with that, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, how well did the Browns do after Odell had his injury? Like, in my mind, Baker was trying to force that ball to Odell so many damn times that it just screwed up his entire system. It felt like he needed to get OBJ the ball, and as soon as OBJ was hurt, the system worked so much better. Also, the fact that you're right, that they switched to more of a run-based style. But Baker didn't make a lot of big mistakes after that, and that's because he wasn't trying to cash in on his playmaker.
But it was also because they took the ball out of his hand, too. That's part of the reason why he wasn't making mistakes.
Very true. But you also have that situation where, yes, he's a very, very talented wide receiver, but is he going to live up to what he did? Basically, I'm going to say it. His first year for New York was amazing, and I know that because I took him off the waivers, which, Josh, we go back to that 18. I took him and Mike Evans off the waivers, dude. Like, it was embarrassing.
That's a heck of a pickup at the time, too, Austin. But, like,
I know
just looking through, the last few years and his, seasonal statistics, and, I have to give props to my guy, Justin Fensterman, who I usually work with, but he's also not a big OBJ guy. They're playing in a run-first offense. They have the best offensive line in football. Wyatt Teller, he played high school football in Virginia, and he put me on my ass when I was in high school.
Somewhere Eric Bueno just got so happy that we.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Liberty High School, they can suck one, but Wyatt Teller is an excellent right guard. So they're going to try and run the ball first. They have Kareem Hunt, and they have Nick Chubb. And the last time that Odell put up all-pro numbers was 2016 in New York. Since then, he's had 2 major injuries, and he's got more of an attitude than a production. So, I mean, I'm 110% with you on this one, Austin.
Some would say it's a shitty situation, but who?
Wow. Had to throw that in there.
Wow.
That's mighty tasteless, fella.
It's mighty tasteless, fella. But yeah, he's had I think the most productive game he's had last year was against Dallas, and that game was shitty only because number one, I had Nick Chubb on my team. And he got injured, and I was pissed. And OBJ literally caught the ball and somehow ran it 30 yards back for a touchdown. So besides that, he's had very, very minimum production. I mean, look at all the other guys you have there. You got Jarvis Landry, you got Rashad Higgins, you got a guy that they just drafted, Anthony Schwartz, if I'm correct.
Fastest guy in the draft, yeah. I'm intrigued to see how they use him.
Like, he's going to make an impact. I just don't know how they're going to use it, man. I really don't. Let's go to number 2. Another guy, new system. I think this team's going to flop so hard, even with him on. Number 2, New York Giants wide receiver, Kenny Golladay. No way in hell I'm drafting Kenny Golladay. I mean, if he falls three rounds, I'll take him, but not at his ADP. Hell no.
Austin, I'm actually going to say that I think with Barkley back this year, this offense should be a little bit more well-balanced than it was last year. And give them credit, too, because even though the NFC East was very bad, they were at least still in play to go for the division probably with maybe 3 weeks left. So it's not like this offense is devoid of all weapons or something. It's just they can't protect Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones doesn't know how to keep a ball in his hands. So
I will challenge your theory, and I will say the defense was more productive than the offense.
I'm not denying that, but I'm just saying, like, I think you're sleeping on the idea of how much better this offense will be when they actually have a stable running game to work with.
It will all depend on if Saquon can stay healthy. I think he takes. But here's the thing: you sign Kenny Golladay. You now have Kyle Rudolph in that offense as well, which Evan Ingram was just shit last year. He was just awful.
Deke actually showed me this. Did you ever see the compilation online of just Evan Ingram dropping passes? Oh, it's great. It's great.
And you have also Sterling Shepard that's there, Darius Slayton that's there. Like, when is Kenny Golladay going to get the ball? If he's going to get the ball, then you're taking the ball out of the hands of, I believe, more productive receivers. And let's not forget another injury-prone player. Kenny Golladay had a massive, Josh, correct me if I'm wrong, hip issue? That he had a hip issue last year?
Yeah, I mean, I had him in a couple of leagues because he had a very productive first couple of years in the league. But hip injuries are bad for large body receivers, and just playing by the rules, the parameters that do not draft person. If you look at the people in the ADP around him on the NFFC, the National Football Fantasy Football Championship, I work with my guys on Wednesday nights on that, Tom and Greg. The high stakes players, they're drafting Kenny Golladay around the same time you're drafting Tyler Lockett, Cooper Kupp, Adam Thielen, Brandon Ayuk. Why would you not take any of those other people over Kenny Golladay? I mean, maybe I just, I'm a hater on Kenny Golladay because I got spurned last year, but you're going to an offense that's run by Jason Garrett, and that's never been good for anybody in fantasy if you're not Ezekiel Elliott. So I would take T. Higgins over him. I would take Odell. All those guys are going after Kenny Golladay in ADP since June 1st. So, yeah, I'm going to be out on Kenny Golladay as well.
Yeah, Deke says he's going 63rd in the CBS and 24th overall wide receiver on ESPN.
Oh my
yeah, he's sitting at 25 overall wide receiver in the NFFC.
That's
so
pretty
it's right in there.
That's pretty reasonable for a number one receiver, I feel like.
shit offense. Daniel Jones is going to crumble enough to find a new quarterback. I can't wait for that shit. And then finally, let's hit number one. This had a large part in doing to a certain signing, which was a little bit frantic, but we'll stay the least. Number one, Las Vegas Raiders running back Josh Jacobs.
Now, this one I'm intrigued by, Austin, because I feel like the reason that you have him so high is because that offensive line is going to be garbage.
That's a huge part of it. The fact that they got rid of like 3 gigantic offensive linemen that helped Josh Jacobs essentially run for 1,000 yards last season. But it also has to deal with the fact that they signed one former Arizona running back, Kenyon Drake. That is a huge issue because now you're taking the ball out of Jacobs' hands and you're putting it with a guy which last year was in an offense that essentially he didn't need to be in because the year prior he was there for his pass catch ability, he was there for his run first ability, but now with all the wide receivers, Kyler Murray never needs to throw him the ball, and also Kyler Murray is fast as fuck. There is no need for him to hand the ball off to Kenyon Drake. And now he's in a productive system where he's going to flourish, in my mind. And Josh Jacobs, Josh, in our best ball, I was very surprised. I think he fell to like the third or fourth round. Like it's just good. I
mean, there's a lot of sentiment about Kenyon Drake being there, and they gave him a decent amount of money to be there. It could just be, Mark Davis doesn't know what he's doing. Same thing with, Mike Mayock. We'll wait and see. But, this kind of falls under the clause of just a team running back by committee that you probably want to avoid if you can. Other teams like that are going to be San Francisco and Tampa Bay. But yeah, I mean, Kenyon Drake going there, it's interesting that he landed in that spot.
Right.
Because I don't think he'll be as productive without Kyler Murray. You highlighted him. When you have a mobile quarterback like that, he opens up rushing lanes that aren't usually there for conventional quarterbacks like Derek Carr. So Josh Jacobs will probably end up getting more of the playing time, but early on in the season, I don't think the returns will be there. I might have a couple of shares just at the price, If I end up in a draft where I go wide receiver, tight end, wide receiver, I might end up getting Josh Jacobs in the 4th or 5th, but not something I'm necessarily targeting.
Austin, in the comments, Deke is calling you out, saying double or nothing, Mad Elf case bet, Drake's a bum.
Good fucking oh lord.
And Austin, Ryan Roberts 6969 says, Austin, can you have my kids?
No. No.
Nice.
At least he asked.
Yeah, no.
That's true. We're all about politeness here on RankKing's Court.
Yeah, that's very true. Radical ranking 1 is done. Let's hit off with number 2. All right, guys. So our radical ranking number 2 was kind of an article I put on our blog for a while back, but I wanted to rehash it for a couple of things. Radical ranking number 2 are the top draft strategies. Various things come into play, and let's hear to discuss them. Big one for our number 5, which Josh, sometimes you and I do at various times. I know Deke does it as well. Number 5, don't draft a kicker.
Why not?
Yeah,
What do you have against
not
kickers?
drafting a kicker. It's just one of those things where you
I
have
was
an extra
expecting a
roster
response.
spot.
I
don't
always
need to
draft
do
a
it.
kicker.
Well, here's the thing. If you don't draft a kicker, you're able to pick up essentially possibly one of your big, talented people later on in the draft that you might feel is good and what other people don't is good. I did that as well in our best ball league, Josh. I know we didn't have kickers, but I was able to pick up Chuba Hubbard in like the very last pick that I had because you're always wondering if that Christian McCaffrey injury. So,
Yeah, and I mean, that's a pick too, Austin, where you can just take a shot on a guy. And, a lot of people draft either during training camp or just slightly after, and the preseason games aren't over yet. And you kind of just take a shot on young guys or, Chuba Hubbard, like you said, or anybody like that. You draft a guy and it's, if it works out, you look like a genius. If you don't, you just cut him and you pick up a kicker.
exactly.
There isn't, there's probably 5 kickers in fantasy football that have to be drafted. After that, you can just take positional guys and pick somebody up, Saturday before week 1. It's not necessary.
My only thing with that, and I understand the reasoning with this, is that in the end, you're gonna have to drop someone to put a kicker on your roster. So it's kind of like, to me, I'd rather just get it out of the way with, because if I load up on guys that I'm interested in terms of young guys, I understand the strategy for like dynasty purposes and all that, but in the end, I'm gonna have to drop someone no matter what to be able to complete my roster. So that's why I'm not crazy about that strategy.
And that's a popular opinion as well, because a lot of people do that. But to play devil's advocate, it gives you a lot of time to evaluate your roster. A lot of people will draft in mid-August. You're not playing the first game until like September 10th, September 11th, somewhere in that range. So you have that extra spot.
Yeah.
More than like you're going to know who you want to drop by then. So I never have a problem with it. But a lot of people just like to set it, forget it, get to week 1. And I fully get it. Fantasy football is just as much a casual game as anything.
Yeah.
But for that little bit of edge, I don't like drafting kickers. Sometimes defense too.
This is also a reminder that people who draft super early are super, super dumb.
Yes.
Just
Easy
saying.
there.
Just
Easy
saying.
there.
You're saying not draft him in the first round?
No, I'm talking about leagues in general who do drafts like really
yeah.
early in the season.
Josh,
like
when was the
3
earliest that you drafted? Did you guys draft for your Virginia league? Didn't you draft at like the beginning of August?
Yeah, 1 year, that's just, we have people in all different states and cities now. So that was the one date that worked out for everybody. But, I mean, this year we're going to be in Vegas at the end of August. So everything fell into place.
There you go. Strategy number 4, get your handcuffs.
Austin, how early do you like to get yours, just out of curiosity?
Well, it depends. I like to get the strategy that I've been doing lately, which I'll get into later, is I draft 3 running backs and then I work my wide receivers, and then at the end, instead of taking probably like a good 5th, 6th running back guy, I'll take one of the handcuffs that are there just in case of injury purposes. And probably I would say the best. This applies. I don't know why. I know our producer, like Josh L says, he says that he likes to handcuff wide receivers, and that's another interesting strategy. And it might work for him, but he's always. I mean, Josh, this is the guy that did what was he did a
Moneyball. Moneyball.
Drafted like all from like 3 teams. It was the Jacksonville, Dallas, and Los Angeles Chargers. So he drafted like Michael Gallup in like the 8th round, and I was just like, Jesus, no, this is not gonna work.
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessary with wide receivers because they're going to be on the waiver wire anyways, unless you're in like a 16-team league, which you could be. I mean, a lot of people are in that.
We had 16.
Yeah, then okay.
God, yeah.
That makes sense. But I mean, with wide receivers, you don't have to. Running backs, yes. It's good practice to do it. It all depends on like the level, like the prestige of the handcuff. Like if you have a guy that you know will come in and replicate production, like Alexander Madison or Tony Pollard, if you have Zeke or Dalvin Cook, then absolutely you need to do that. But, with McCaffrey, he has a rookie behind him. Do you have to do that immediately? No, you could probably wait until the double digits. So it's a case-by-case basis with some of these running backs. But, if you end up drafting Nick Chubb per se, you're going to have to spend a 4th or a 5th round on Kareem Hunt. So just know when you take Nick Chubb, you have to make that investment. That's just part of the draft.
I think injury history also plays a role in that too, because with McCaffrey, I can't remember the last time he hasn't gone a season without something he's dealing with. So that probably plays into it as well.
Yeah, trust me, tell me, I had him 2 years ago. So I was a shocker and alive when I think he had his back injury or whatever that he had. A big one that I want to throw out is an interesting one, which people are talking about lately, because the Green Bay Packers news is coming out. I've drafted a lot of my share of Aaron Jones shares, and a lot of times in like the 7th or 8th round, I'll take A.J. Dillon because it's like right there, and you don't know what this offense is going to be. Is Rodgers going to play? Is he not? And if he doesn't, that is a huge step in the run game department, and you got to admit A.J. Dillon's going to get his shot. I mean, with them Cavs.
I mean, they invested a 2nd round pick in him, so I'm inclined to agree with you on that one, bud.
Yeah. Strategy number 3. I actually didn't do this one last year, but it panned out because I got one of the better quarterbacks at that time. Number 3, don't draft a quarterback early.
You know what, Austin? I was always a fan and in favor of doing this. Last year was honestly the first time I went away from that because I wanted to test something out differently. And in a couple of my leagues, I got Kyler Murray, and I think I had, I can't remember who else I had another one, but Kyler Murray I had in 2 of my leagues. And for the most part, he put up good numbers, but then honestly, when I looked at it more in depth, I was kind of like, you know what, my roster just doesn't look as nice as I would have expected it to be, so I'm going back to this strategy now this year.
Right. I believe what I did, Josh, from when we were down in where we drafted last time, is I took Kyler Murray, I think, in like the 5th or 6th round. And like that wasn't like a big early perceptive for me, but now you have people, especially like I'll throw him out, Billy Bob in our best ball draft that drafted Josh Allen like in his 2nd round pick, and I was just like, whoa, like.
Yeah, well, there's just people that are obsessed with having a quarterback on their roster. You have guys that have to have it right away. You have guys like us. We'll wait for a Matt Ryan or a Matt Stafford. If we can get 12 to 15 quarterback production in that ranking, we're going to be fine because we're going to invest in other things. But yeah, the guy, it's the same. A lot of people just draft Patrick Mahomes, every single year in like the 2nd or 3rd round. They just have to do it. Same thing with Lamar Jackson. How did that work out for people last year?
Yep. I was going to say what
just
Billy
be patient.
Billy last year took Patrick Mahomes with his 1st round pick.
He did, and he somehow made the playoffs. It was a poor example.
Yeah, it was.
See, sometimes it does.
Yeah, or even like for instance, like last year, I'm pretty sure I was in leagues where Aaron Rodgers went in like the 8th, 9th, 10th round even because he was coming off of a bad year, and look what happened. Dude won an MVP. So
as Josh Elsass loves to put it, the fuck you tour is still going.
The
for
fuck
Aaron
you tour
Rodgers.
is still very much going on. Yes,
it's happening right now out on a course in California too.
Hey Josh, just so you know, last year in our fantasy league, I had a team called Game of Jones, and I drafted every player with last name Jones.
That was funny.
Okay.
It was
And
very
they
funny.
actually are pretty good.
Yeah, I know.
Daniel Jones, he had so many Joneses. It was
There's a whole
unreal.
team.
You made the playoffs, so hey, it worked out.
Yeah.
Rising.
That's
I went
impressive.
on a
That's
run,
actually
too.
extremely impressive.
It just happened that way. I drafted like 3, and then I was like, you know what? I'll just keep it going.
See if anyone catches
Yeah.
on.
Let's hit strategy number 2. This is a big one. Josh, you'll appreciate the pic. You won't be able to see the picture, but I'll describe it. Number 2, studying the schedules. And Josh, just so
I love
you
this
know,
picture with it.
yeah, just so you know, this is Charlie from Always Sunny with the whole conspiracy shit.
Pepe Sylvia. Where is he? This mail coming and going. Yeah, no, I
It's
mean,
not Moneyball.
I was gonna say though, this is kind of like this is basically the beginnings of it of Moneyball. Yeah.
Oh, Foreigner
Okay.
said he bets Austin has the worst fantasy team every year.
I would love to take that goddamn bet. Seriously, throw me in there.
Boy, you are just in a gambling mood today. All of a sudden.
Listen. I didn't even get to bet the Suns and Bucks tonight, so I need to do that. But first off, the schedules are so important because not only you have to deal with bye weeks, and a lot of people don't consider that. They will likely take the 1 week loss of having like 8 players on a bye week, but eventually that creeps up on you. Like if you're not having a great fucking year and you have like 5 or 6 guys with bye week 7, good shit, good luck. Like you're at that point, like that decides your make or break, you know?
oh, and this too, Austin, this is going to be the first year like it because we're going to have 18 weeks, but we're going to have bye weeks in week 14.
Yeah.
That's going to be traditionally when people are starting their fantasy football playoffs. So, I don't have the teams that are on bye in week 14 off the top of my head, but there's going to be some important players that you have to draft in those slots.
Yeah.
And you're just going to have to think about that as a strategy and look ahead with it.
Yeah.
You could be without your first running back the first week of the playoffs, partially because Roger Goodell has no idea what fantasy football is, and that's an issue in itself, but
Yeah.
that's something you got to look at.
I love that
But
Morgan's the voice of reason in the
Yeah,
chat.
Austin Morgan says gambling is bad, always.
Thanks, Mom. Anyway, bet what I goddamn want to bet. Don't you tell me what I can't remember.
She'll fight you.
You want to, dude?
I wouldn't talk to her
I
about
wouldn't
that.
test Morgan, man.
All right. Well, I've never even met her in person, so I will say I'm still. Does she exist, Bo? I don't even know. So,
I've met her. She
Greg
exists.
has
I've met
met
her.
okay. But here's the thing with that also with the schedules is that, I mean, for instance, the Pittsburgh Steelers this year have the hardest schedule in the NFL. Now, does that come into play when you want to say you want to take like a Najee Harris or like a Ben Roethlisberger or somebody in your fantasy draft? Or would you want to take someone with possibly like the easiest schedule that you can get more production out of? Like it really all depends. So
I don't hate the logic, Austin. The problem is that so much can change during the season that it might end up being to the point where it does work out. Like, for instance, like, we're looking at the Steelers' schedule from certain perspectives. Like, I mean, we don't know what happens with Aaron Rodgers, so, I mean, the Packers game could be extremely easy at that point, or Lamar Jackson could get injured, and those 2 Ravens games are a lot more of a cakewalk than they used to be. So, like, it's honestly, like, a give and take on that one.
Do we know what's happening with Rodgers at all? Like,
Not yet, no.
Hell no.
Well, and here's the thing with the schedule, guys. Like, don't make it everything, but if you can't decide between 2 people that you want to draft, use that as a coin flip or the tiebreaker.
That's good. That's a good tiebreaker option. I
don't
agree
put too much on a pedestal with schedule because, things change every week. People get hurt a lot in the NFL. But, if you're splitting hairs, you can use that. That's a good strategy.
Yep. And finally, our last draft strategy, which I've been imploding the shit out of in every single like mock draft, which I'm up to 26, I think 26 fantasy mock drafts that I've done.
He has a problem.
I do. I have an addiction. And number 1, draft running backs early. I cannot stress the shit out of this enough, especially for this season. I've done drafts in this where I've taken 3 running backs with my first 3 picks and handled my wide receivers after that. And I normally my first wide receiver in round 4 has been Julio Jones, which is still a wonderful scenario given where he's playing now. But like normally I would take like, I think one off the top of my head, Aaron Jones, Najee Harris, Chris Carson, like 3 potential starting running backs. I can just put one in the flex and I'm good to go. I don't have to ever worry about that flex position aside from the bye week, because you get into these scenarios where like, Greg, you have implied this for multiple times that I've done a very meat and potatoes strategy where I will take running back, wide receiver, running back, wide receiver. And sometimes that's a big pan out because then you miss out on a good portion of running backs that go early, very early.
I get that, Austin, but the problem is that especially because most leagues now are PPR based, so receivers have now become, especially ones like possession guys, for instance, or ones that are in, especially how the game has evolved into a spread out formation type of thing. It's hard to kind of veer away from receivers, even though I would argue that the way that the game is trending now is that you're getting a lot more quality receivers coming into the league just because they seem more replaceable now, to the point that like you can plug and play anyone in. My question is there any receiver at all you would consider drafting in the first round? Any, like DeAndre Hopkins or AJ Brown, Tyreek Hill, something like that?
Yeah, I would say, so here's my thing. Devontae Adams was up there. I think he's a very first pick of the second round now.
With Aaron Rodgers as your QB, yes.
But two that have come to mind, Tyreek Hill has come to mind. DeAndre Hopkins, obviously, with his amount of production. And I'll just throw another one, Stephon Diggs. Like, I think the Bills do take a little bit of a tumble after last season and getting all their hype out of the way. But, yes, Stephon Diggs for me last year, I think I took him in, the 5th round. And
you got a steal on that one, absolutely. Yes.
Phenomenal. So, but yeah, my experience is that like you could have a plethora of wide receivers to work with in this fantasy football draft. Running backs, however, go very early.
Yeah, I mean, it's all just positional scarcity. Sorry to hop in at the end there, Austin. I know we're probably moving on. But, it's basic economics playing fantasy. It's supply and demand. And if you don't get on it early, it's going to get away from you quick. Travis Etienne is sitting at running back 20. I don't think anybody really wants to touch him at this point.
We have no idea how he's going to play.
Says are the plans for him. So it goes quickly. If you don't get a top 10 running back, you're going to be playing catch up all season long. And running backs are also very tough to come by on the waivers. So take your running backs early, and then you can get a guy like Robert Woods and CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper in the 3rd or 4th round, and you'll be totally fine. So definitely go running back if you can. Unless Travis Kelce's there, then you can do a very different draft, but it certainly can work.
We're talking about receivers and pass catchers. He's definitely one that I would also take in the first round.
100%.
All right. Well, while my beautiful guest Josh goes and grabs another beer, let's go in. I saw a little wing view. We will move into our great debate. Alrighty, guys. Now, I told you this is going to be interesting. So, we are going to be drafting our team, but here's the kicker. I've seen a lot of these.
Kicker.
Stop saying kicker. You're getting Bo excited.
What we are going to do is, and Foreigner, you know your role, so get to it. Decide the draft order, because here's what's going to happen. We are going to start with this. We are drafting our fantasy teams essentially with this. And fantasy, of course, means like not all positions, but we're doing all positions in this case. So whereas like left tackle, center, all these come into play. The first person will start off with the Arizona Cardinals. Then the next person will start off with the Atlanta Falcons. And it will go in alphabetical order.
Wow.
That we have to pick these people from.
Wow.
Now, oh, yeah. It's going to get crazy. It's going to get crazy up in here.
I love this and I hate this at the same time. I'm honestly, the more I think about this, the more I'm very intrigued by this.
All right. So what we're going to do so this show isn't running till like 9 fucking o'clock at night is you will have probably what I want to say 30 to 45 seconds.
10 seconds.
10 seconds, man.
Each,
5 seconds.
5 seconds.
From the hip.
For how this is going to work, you'll have that time frame to pick your person. All right. Now, if you need to look shit up, you need to look shit up because I know some of these positions, some people are going to be like, I have no idea who plays there. Like, it's going to be
So, Austin, what are you thinking? Like quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 receivers, tight end, and a flex?
So what I have here is I have quarterback, running back. We can do fullback.
No, that's dumb. That's dumb.
No. All right, so let's erase that. Anymore. No fullback. Okay, so quarterback, running back, 2 wide receivers.
Okay.
A tight end.
Okay.
Left tackle.
Oh God.
I don't know any left tackles.
Left tackle, left guard, center, right guard, right tackle, left end.
Austin.
Oh yeah.
Austin, no, this is way too much, man. No. Can I make a suggestion, please? As a knight, as a noble, like, confidant.
Speak your mind.
Okay.
Speak your mind.
Okay. How about we do this? You do 8-player fantasy football roster, quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, and a flex. That way, everyone has 8 players, and we still are able to go in order from the teams.
All right.
Okay.
I will simplify it for you.
Okay.
Yeah, don't make me look up offensive line rankings.
Austin.
I already have 6 windows open.
No.
Austin, this is hard enough for me.
Yeah. I think Austin, seriously. So like everyone will have an 8-person lineup.
1 running back or 2 running backs?
2 running backs. Everyone has an 8-person lineup, and there's 4 of us, so we'll be able to still go through all 32 teams.
Okay. So we're doing 1 quarterback.
No.
2 running backs.
2 running backs.
3 wide receivers.
1 tight end.
1 tight end. 1
flex.
flex.
Right. Okay.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah. No kicker. Quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, flex, tight end.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I just have to write those down.
All right. Because I think that'll be way more fun and a lot easier. So.
That's okay.
Okay.
That was at rapid pace. I'm just reading the comment.
Yeah.
All right. So Forager, have you the draft order?
Yeah, he already did. So it's Josh, me, you, Vo.
Okay.
Save the best for last.
Exactly. And Austin, I'm assuming you're gonna list the teams that we have to do at that time.
Yes,
Okay.
I will. I have the order.
Yeah. So I don't need an alphabetical order of the NFL teams in front.
No, Austin will tell you what team you have to pick from, and then you have to go based on your fantasy football lineup that you have missing pieces in, basically.
Okay.
All
right. So Josh, you are on the clock, and you have the Arizona Cardinals.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to waste any time. I feel like I'll just plug in a wide receiver right away, and DeAndre Hopkins makes a lot of sense.
Solid pick.
Yeah, that's a
good pick.
That's a really good one, damn it. I just love DeAndre Hopkins so much. All right, Vo.
It's me.
I'm last.
Oh, yep, you're good.
3rd pick overall. Top cheese draft.
Jesus.
3rd round. My bad.
Ha!
Big difference.
Sucks.
All right, so Vo, you have the
Me.
Okay, Greg.
Thank you.
Greg, you are up, and you have the Atlanta Falcons.
Calvin Ridley, baby.
Yep.
No doubter about that. I'm intrigued to see how he does this year because he's clearly going to be the number 1. I mean, Russell Gage might get a lot of looks this year for all we know, but still, I think he's going to be I'd
be more worried about Kyle Pitts than Russell Gage.
Rookie tight ends, I can't trust them, even if it's a once-in-a-generation type guy. Until I see Kyle Pitts might be the first one that does it, but until I see one rookie tight end actually put up great numbers, man, I can't.
Fair enough.
All right, I am up, and I have the Baltimore Ravens. I am going to get my quarterback out of the way, and I'm going to select Lamar Jackson.
Smart pick. Also, wouldn't have been a bad idea to go Mark Andrews either.
Oh, don't take quarterbacks first. Take
quarterbacks different parameters on this one. Different parameters.
Ay. All right, Greg, you are on the clock.
Bo's on the clock.
Bo is. I always. Bo, you are on the clock, and you have the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, Stephon Diggs, wide receiver number 1.
No.
There you go.
Josh Allen wouldn't have been a bad pick either, but again, depends on how the board falls.
I would love to see who's going to be throwing Steph on the ball in your damn team. So. Oh my. All right, Josh, you are back on the clock. You have the Carolina Panthers.
Okay, nice. I'm glad this isn't a snake draft.
Whoa,
I thought maybe it would be. But because it's not, I wonder who on the Carolina Panthers would be good to pick for fantasy football. Yeah.
Sam
I'm not going to go
Darnold.
into a big spiel. We all know he's great. So just Christian McCaffrey, and I'll leave some time for debate later on.
I love I said Sam Darnold and Deke also said Sam Darnold in the chat. I love it.
I mean, no lie. I think Sam Darnold has a very good year this year. I'll take him as a QB2 all day, but you got to take CMC when he's there.
Yeah.
And awesome. Just so you know, I'll make a graphic after this.
Yeah, I was going to say, thank you.
For
All right. Bo.
Greg.
Me.
I'm just saying it not to piss you guys off. Greg.
Yeah, bullshit. All right.
He's getting mad.
Greg. You have the Chicago Bears.
Ooh. Okay. I wish part of me wants to go flex and do Tariq Cohen, but I'm going to hold off on that one. I'm going to play it safe. Give me Allen Robinson.
I got a chuckle out of Josh on that one.
Yeah.
I didn't think Tariq Cohen would be in the equation. I think it would be Monty or Robinson.
Yeah, he was injured last year, but if they know how to use him in the offense, man, he's fun to watch. But
I love Allen Robinson, man.
Me
Love
too.
the pick. I'm a huge fan.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Naturally, I get this fucking team. I almost.
You got the Bengals? Ah! Let's go! Let's go!
I don't want to draft from them.
A lot of good options with Cincinnati. You can't say that most years.
There's a lot. Let's do it. He is a rookie coming in. Give me Jamar Chase.
I don't hate that, Austin. That's actually
I'm
really
about
good.
it.
Yeah, I don't hate that.
It's not my ideal wide receiver one, but I would much rather prefer him than Joe Burrow right now. So
We already have a quarterback too.
exactly. So, ay. All right. Well, you have the Cleveland Browns.
I had him last year in one of my fantasy teams, and I'm going to go with Nick Chubbs.
I love how you put the S at the end.
Chubbs.
Thank you.
Hi. Nick Chubbs.
Nick
Chubbs.
I call him Chubbs.
Oh,
Fair enough
All
on
right.
that one.
all right, Josh.
Good pick, though, right?
Yeah. Who does Josh currently have right now? Just so we
Josh?
keep track.
Yeah, go ahead.
He has Hopkins and McCaffrey.
Okay.
So that's a pretty good fucking team on his own.
I
So,
like that. I like the way this is going.
Yeah, and he also gets another shining star if I'm knowing he's going to pick the Dallas Cowboys.
So there are three ways to go about this one.
There really are.
I could go with Dak because we saw last year and the year before that he's butting into a potential league winner. You've got Zeke, who a lot of people hate just because of last year, but it was without Dak. That was a one-dimensional offense. There's also CeeDee Lamb, and CeeDee Lamb is going to be this year's Calvin Ridley. You saw what happened. He had his breakout year. That's going to be CeeDee this year. And I have a running back and a wide receiver. I don't have the list in front of me, so maybe I'll regret not taking Dak. I might end up with a terrible quarterback situation with the team I'm landing with, but I'm going to go with CeeDee Lamb here, guys.
Ooh, okay. I like that a lot, buddy. Oh, it's interesting that you get this team as well, Greg. You were high on them very much so last year, and it flopped.
Yeah.
You get the Denver Broncos.
I'm gonna take Dre's boy.
Huh.
Give me Cortland Sutton.
Now, does he have a bounce back year though?
He was injured last year. Yeah, I'm a big believer in that. I think Jerry Jeudy had too much pressure on him as a rookie coming out, and that's why he struggled, especially because he didn't have Cortland Sutton to play off of. I think Sutton is the number one in that offense, and I think he's going to bounce back.
Okay, well now, Greg, I get your secondary team, and there's only one name that's going to come to mind because I have the Detroit Lions.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, this roster is shit. But one guy that I do have a lot of confidence in, that I think he's going to do very, very well, give me DeAndre Swift.
I don't hate that, Austin. I would have also considered T.J. Hawkinson in this case too, because I think that he is going to get a lot of love this year, especially because their wide receiver core is ugly. Because I like him on Ross St. Brown, but I'm not trusting him to be a number one. So.
Well, yeah, you have him, but who else do you have? Tyrell Williams, Rashad Perryman. Like, this is not going to be a team.
No, Hawkinson. I'm very excited. I think he's going to have a good year this year.
Yeah. All right. Bo. The Green Bay Packers.
Since we don't really know what's happening with Aaron Rodgers, we're
Right.
going to go with Aaron Jones.
Your boy from last year, Aaron Jones.
Carried my team last year, so
Not bad.
I expect him to carry it again.
Not a bad pick.
Not a bad
Thanks,
pick
Greg.
at all.
I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
And Josh, I love that you have this team now. You have virtually the worst NFL team now in the Houston Texans.
Yeah, so I went ahead and looked ahead because I was thinking this is who I was going to have. So I had to pull up the depth chart just to see what was going on after everything
Leave it there now.
I mean,
that happened this year.
Brandon Cooks, Mark Ingram. That's really about it.
Yeah, I mean, and there's some good options. I mean, Brandon Cooks was very productive in the absence of D-Hop last year, but who was throwing them the ball? It was Deshaun Watson. Does anybody know what's going on with him right now?
No, they're saying that he possibly could not play this year. He might play next year.
Yeah, so the thing is it depends if it goes by precedent and the court of public opinion. And the court of public opinion has actually been very quiet regarding Deshaun Watson. I'm not here to get into politics or criminality or anything. I just think it's interesting. And when that seems to be the case, the NFL tends to let the legal process churn out. And I don't think Deshaun Watson's going to be in a courtroom for a year. So I'm just going to go ahead and roll the dice.
Oh, shit.
No, I'm not going to do that. I was taking everybody down this road where it's just like, all right, Josh isn't going to
God, that would have been great.
I'm just going to go ahead and settle in with Brandon Cooks. He was excellent last year. He can stretch the field. He'll probably end the year as a wide receiver 3. Unfortunate, timing that I end up with this team, but he'll probably end up sitting in the flex for us.
There you go. Alrighty. Greg.
Mm-hmm.
You have the Indianapolis Colts.
Jonathan Taylor.
Oh, shit, that was
quick.
quick.
Listen.
Okay.
There was I had a league last year. I took Jonathan Taylor and Marlon Mack in one. I knew one of them was going to get one of them was going to put good numbers. Matt got injured and Jonathan Taylor took the starting job. So I'm all in on him this year. And that offensive line is great. He's got the best guard in football blocking for him. So hey, come on.
True that. Okay. I have the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Good luck on this one, bud.
Not like my team at all. So.
Trevor Lawrence.
Not what I want. I'm not taking Trevor Lawrence. There's no way in hell. Oh, but who else do you have?
Someone in the chat. Someone in the chat is bringing up their yeah.
Do
it, man.
Do it.
You know you want to.
Man.
Austin.
Do it. Do it, bud.
Fuck you.
Okay,
Give me Tim Tebow as the tight end.
Let's go.
Give it to me.
Let's go.
Give it to
that might
me.
be the best pick.
It might, for all we know.
Man,
I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
Did that just happen live?
Yes, it happened
You
live.
guys do that live?
It happened live on Twitch. I'm
the
so
thing is-
happy.
I'm waiting for Ashton Kutcher to pop out behind us. What just happened?
I will say this. He's at least going to score a touchdown this season. And the possibility, like the betting odds for him scoring a touchdown are crazy. Because they think he's not going to see the field. And yeah, he's a 4th-string tight end, but it's Tim fucking Tebow. Like,
Oh, he'll work his way in there. He'll work his
and
way
you're
in
lucky
there.
because Urban Meyer is very strong in what's called nepotism.
yeah.
He loves putting his own guys in there. He's an absolute jackass. So yeah, from the Florida days, he'll make sure he makes the roster, which is stupid, but there you go.
All right, Bo. We go from possibility of some of the shittiest teams to now a royal pick. You have the Kansas City Chiefs.
Look at you referencing a baseball team, bravo.
I know, right?
Yeah.
He owns a share of it, which I'm assuming he's going to take. If he doesn't, there's something wrong here.
This one is actually a tough pick
How is this a tough pick?
because I'm between two guys.
No.
Dude,
I mean,
it's understandable actually.
yeah.
It's very.
I'm going to go with. I need a quarterback, so Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, that's who I thought you were gonna take.
Well,
What could have been Kelsey?
yeah, Travis Kelce's also a reasonable option here, man. Come on.
Best quarterback in football. That's what you gotta
Arguably one of the best. He's arguably the best tight end in football.
My luck, he'll get hurt like game 1, and then I'll be screwed.
do.
And
Yeah,
have
we'll
Nathan
see.
Peterman as quarterback.
That would last.
God.
All right. This is reading here now. A lot of, I believe the next ones it goes Chargers, Rams, and then Raiders because instead of it's LA, and then.
Well,
LA.
it'd be Las Vegas would be first because of LAS. Yeah.
So Josh, you have the Chargers, good sir.
Well, no. He has the Raiders. Las Vegas Raiders, Los Angeles Chargers. LALO. What comes first?
This is spelling
Okay,
class
I always
last
thought it
week.
was LVR. That's why I was.
No, dude. Like Las Vegas Raiders, Los Angeles. So,
All right. You have the. I'm trying to throw you a bone there, Josh, but you have the Las Vegas Raiders.
I mean, it's fine, Austin. I still need a tight end, so the bone is still there.
Damn.
I'll just go ahead and take Darren Waller. You know, John Gruden, he loves his tight ends. He always has. It's going to be another year over 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns.
Yep.
Easy pick.
All right. You're just loading up on this shit. Your team's gonna score into like the 3,000s at this point. Who the hell knows? All I know is that Greg is next, and he has now the Los Angeles Chargers.
he might hit a rookie. He might hit the second-year wall, but I don't care. I had him last year, and he did really well for me. Give me Justin Herbert as my quarterback.
Yeah, he's not gonna. There's no second wall for Herbert. Like he's.
No, I think he's in a great offense. It's gonna accentuate them. I could have taken Eckler here, but I didn't want to like rock that boat just yet. So I think Herbert as my quarterback is still good.
Gotcha. All right. Well, then I am up with the Los Angeles Rams. Okay. Now there's actually two names that come to mind here. One is running back Cam Akers, and another one is wide receiver Robert Woods. I might regret this, but I see a big production in the wide receiver in the passing game this year now that Matt Stafford is there. So I will take Robert Woods.
Solid pick, bud. You could have made an argument like if you needed a tight end, Higbee might do something, but you might go better.
I took
Yes,
Tim
and
Tebow.
Tebow.
Oh yeah, that's
I could
right.
easily put Timby in the flex, but I think I'd be missing out there. So who the hell knows? All I know is that Bo is up at number 19, and he has the Miami Dolphins.
This one's intriguing, actually.
I'm interested in this one.
Take
Take Wolf.
Team.
Take Wolf. Games. Take Wolf.
A couple guys. I mean, you could go with Tua. You can go with Mike Gesicki. You can go Jalen Waddle. You can go with Deke's favorite player, Devontae Parker. You can go with a couple other guys I'm trying to think of off the top of my head. Preston Williams, I think, is still there. I can't remember the running back situation, though.
Give you 10 seconds, Bo.
Oh, Myles Gaskin is there, actually, for running back. Yeah.
Malcolm Brown.
5.
Solid pick.
I will let you do 5.
No, wait.
Wait,
I'll
Mal-
let you take
What?
5 more seconds. 5.
Jalen Waddle.
Yeah.
Jalen Waddle.
Yeah.
Jalen Waddle.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
That's what I meant.
That's who you meant. Okay. Okay. Jalen Waddle, solid pick. All right.
Holy hell. That was a Jesus.
That's
All
the
right.
one team I don't really know anyone on. Greg,
Okay.
I think I missed one of your picks, though. I have Herbert, Ridley, Robinson, Sutton.
Is that it?
I feel like you had a running back that I might have missed.
Oh yeah, Jonathan Taylor with the Colts. Yeah.
There you go.
Oh,
Yep.
why did I wrote him somewhere else?
God.
Anyway,
I wrote him in Austin's.
No.
I would appreciate that. but
No.
Josh is up, and he has, you like that, Minnesota Vikings.
Just tell Josh who's on his team currently.
McCaffrey, Hopkins, Lamb, Cooks, Waller.
Mm.
All right. Well, I will not be going quarterback here. because I do not like it. Never been a big Kirk guy. He was in D.C. when I was in D.C. for a long time. Thought he was the better of the two between him and RG3. I just made a lot of Washington football team fans upset, but whatever. So going with the Raiders, and I have a hole at running back, and I already have McCaffrey. I think it makes a lot of sense to just go ahead and slide Dalvin Cook in there. What do you think, Austin? Is that good? Am I doing good?
What I think, fuck you. Goddamn forager and his goddamn pudding ways. Holy hell. Alright.
Wow.
I don't know.
You asked him to pick the draft order.
Fuck you. And
Can't
by
be
the
mad at
way,
him.
Greg, you are up the New England Patriots.
Wow.
Tom Brady.
What? Jesus Christ.
Aaron Hernandez.
Stop.
Dude! Too
Stop.
far. Too far. What's wrong with you?
Oh.
God, I'm trying to think about like their options with their offense.
You need a wide receiver?
I think I got like 3 already.
Need?
Yeah, what am
Okay.
You have.
I mean,
three wide
Jacoby
receivers.
Myers
You need
isn't a bad
tight end,
idea.
Running back and flex.
I need a running back, tight end, and flex?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, Hunter Henry's in New England as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Johnny Smith.
You know what? I'm gonna do my tight end now. Give me
I pick between two.
No, actually, I'm sorry. You know what? Damian Harris. I don't know if I'll put him at running back 2 or not, but I could maybe pick him up as a flex depending on how the rest of the board falls for me. So give me Damian Harris.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't hate that.
Yeah.
Okay. I am up with the New Orleans Saints, my secondary team. So.
Wait, Austin. Right now you have Jackson, Swift, Chase, Woods, Tebow. There's one more I'm missing.
Dude.
You have Lamar quarterback?
Yeah, Jackson, quarterback.
I have Jackson, Swift, Chase, Woods, Tebow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to just say it. I'm going to fill my running back position, a guy that I've had for years. I love him. Alvin Kamara.
What a tough pick that was for you, Austin. I saw you toiled over that.
I'm always fidgeting over picks.
The crown is heavy for thee, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
really.
All right. Now we are at Bo, and you have the New York Giants. Is your running back slots full? Is the question.
He also has flex.
I do have a flex left, Austin. So I will go with Saquon Barkley.
Bravo.
Yeah, I was
Say
gonna
quads for
Quads.
quads for the uninitiated.
trying to trick you there, but all right. So you get Saquon Barkley, and we go back to Josh. Yikes! The New York Jets.
Yeah, so
What is Josh need? Just
So I've looked ahead. I need a quarterback and a flex.
Yeah.
So, and I know that I'm going to be, the next one's going to be the Seahawks. So I could take Russell Wilson, have him as my quarterback, and then have to just choke down Corey Davis or Denzel Mims. Or I could just, when you come on shows like this, you take a hot take, you take a rookie quarterback like Zach Wilson, and you make a popcorn headline on Twitter, and people click it because people love clickbait. So I think I'm just going to do that, and then I'll have DK Metcalf on the roster as well when I get to Seattle. So go ahead and give me Zach Wilson. The run game is almost non-existent. They took Michael Carter. They actually have 2 Michael Carters on their roster.
Yeah, I know, that's the weird part.
That was a weird draft day for them. And Tevin Coleman as well. I think they're going to have to, pass the ball more often. They signed Corey Davis for that reason. Crowder's back after his contract dispute. So let's go with Zach Wilson, the babyface boy from BYU.
He's a very punchable face.
He looks like he's 13.
Alrighty, so we are up now with Greg, and he has the Philadelphia Eagles.
I still need a tight end, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Tight end and flex.
Tight end and flex. Okay. I have no idea what's going on with Zach Ertz, so I feel like he's going to get traded at some point. So give me Dallas Goedert. I think he's gonna be he's gonna be Jalen Hurts' best friend for this season because they desperately need that.
I see big landing spots for Zach Ertz, I would think, in Indianapolis or Cincinnati, depending on where he would go. I think Indianapolis with Carson makes the most sense, but we'll never know. So hopefully until it happens. And with that, I am up.
You're so happy with this pick.
For Steelers. I don't even have to think about this one. I have, a wide receiver and a flex to fill, so I will fill my flex. Give me the rookie. Give me Najee Harris.
Okay.
It's going to be a run-first offense, boys. I'm pumped for Najee. So pumped.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like usually filling a running back spot for the flex, but with Najee, he's going to have 300-plus touches. Easy.
Yeah, right.
He'll go over that prop of 1,000 yards too on DraftKings, probably week 14 or 15. So.
Oh no, I would assume he'd average 20 touches a game at some point. So yeah, I'm right there.
Easily.
Yeah.
All right. We are up now with with the San Francisco 49ers.
I hope you need a tight end.
Yeah, I do need a tight end.
You're golden.
So
I just want someone to have a bad fucking pick.
Here you go, George Kittle, tight end.
Good pick,
Okay.
bud. Good pick.
It worked out perfectly for that.
Ay. All right, and as we already said, Josh is now up with the Seattle Seahawks, and Josh is going to go with DK Metcalf, wide receiver.
Yep. The body, man. Dude's a freak of nature. Throw him in the flex, just on the side. What's crazy about this draft? It's like let's shoe in a guy like DK Metcalf, last pick. Why not? Sounds great.
This team. All right, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
You are up, and you have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Ooh.
What is the one spot that you need to fill?
Flex.
Flex.
Yeah. Oh, God. I'm deciding between Mike Evans or Chris Godwin, honestly. Oh, jeez. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to go with Chris Godwin. Give me Chris Godwin.
I know Deke is going to, if Deke's still watching, he's going to be like, oh, you goddamn Chris Godwin piece of shit. Like,
Mike Evans drives me nuts, honestly, with regards to his production.
You could have a 200-plus point game and then end up with a 2-point game.
Right.
He's a roller coaster player. That's all I'm gonna say.
Exactly. So with that, I gotta go with the guy that I feel like is going to be reliable in some way. So he's the one that I would pick with in that case.
Yep. Okay. So I am up, and I have the Tennessee Titans, and I'm just gonna take them. I know that the other guy is gonna have it like a top 10+ year, but it's too sweet not to take him. Give me Julio Jones at my final spot in the wide receiver pool.
Wow, over A.J. Brown.
Yeah, I know. But both of them are going to.
But wow.
Both of them are going to be phenomenal. But I love the attention that this is getting. I love Julio Jones as my third wide receiver.
Okay, I don't hate that.
And finally, you are up with the Washington Football Team.
Can I help you?
What spot you need?
Terry
McLaurin, yes.
Terry
McLaurin. Bravo, bud.
All right, and that possibly concludes the longest ever great debate, I think.
Imagine what it would have been if we went with your
I know.
Yeah.
That would have been, we would have been here, it'd have been midnight, but still.
Yeah, we'll post these on social media, and we'll have everyone decide who had the best team based on that. I think that was very fun, man.
It was a good one.
Like I said, I see this on TikTok all the time where the random team falls, and you have to. I see it with basketball a lot where they have to pick their point guard and stuff, and they end up with the Pistons for every single one. They're God damn it! But yes, and we have a little bit of an announcement to make.
We do.
Do we not?
We do.
So, do we want to make it now or do we want to make it after?
We can. We'll play the video first.
Play the video
Then
first.
We'll announce it.
Play that funky video, bud.
This is for all of you out there. Josh goes, grabs another beer. I thank everyone of the RankKing's Court for putting that beautifully done production together. These shirts are in the store.
They are.
If you don't buy them after seeing the genius that was, are you really a member of the court?
You clearly are not. And Austin, where can they go to buy that amazing shirt that we are now promoting everywhere?
Well, if you would like to purchase that shirt, all you would have to do is go to thoughtsfromthebench.com. There is a link for the store in there, and all you have to do is scroll until you see the RankKing's Court. Size guide's already there. Get yours because they are only available in July.
And if you'd rather go directly, you can go to tftbstore.com. That is another direct link to the shop that you will be able to get your shirts. And by all means, please buy them up because obviously you love us for a reason.
We all worked hard on this shirt.
Damn right we did.
The design of the shirt, the production of promoting it, like everything goes to the RankKing's Court for this and Thoughts from the Bench. And like I said, if you don't buy one, you're missing out.
And we need to sell the most shirts also.
Yes.
I know you're on 2 beers deep.
Well, that's the thing. It's a competition.
2 beers deep and RankKing's Court.
Regardless, I will push both. I will gladly push both. Yes, come on.
Okay. And now we get to the main event of why we are here. And this is a wonderful, wonderful thing that I put together. I love this. These are the top 10 fantasy football predictions for this season.
I never heard him more excited about one before.
I am very excited for this because this involves a lot of stats. This involves a lot of preemptive measures. And what we're going to do, as we normally go, Josh will give his 10, I will give my 10, and it will be a domino effect from there.
King, I love the fact
I know,
that
we're not even the goddamn. Are we on the goddamn thing yet?
We're good. I was letting it play while you were talking.
Are we here now? Are we good?
We're back,
Now
bud.
we're back. Now that we're back.
The official ranking.
I knew you were excited for it because you kept talking during the actual introduction of it.
I was just going to let it go.
I love that. That was great, bud.
Sweat pouring down from here in the suit. It's nuts. All right. Yes, these are the top 10 fantasy football predictions, and what's going to happen is Josh is going to give his 10, I'm going to give my 10, and it'll be a domino effect from there. I will put these on social, and you will vote. Did Josh conquer the king, or did the Rank King once again prevail?
Once again?
Once again.
Yeah, like what?
Remember when you voted for yourself?
Yeah.
Josh, there was one time they were tied.
Had to go.
We came in the studio. Josh was like, "Oh, I'll vote for myself so I win."
Yeah, it was a bunch of bullshit.
Anyway.
Austin can be a snake. I'm just going to say it.
Forager, you're buying a RankKing's
Forager, did you not see that amazing commercial that we just posted? How could you not? How could you not buy an RKC shirt now after that?
RKC, man, I love it. All right, let's get underway. The top 10 fantasy football predictions. Josh, what is your number 10, sir?
All right, number 10. I'm on a Pittsburgh-based podcast, so you have to cater to the audience, and I'm sure a lot of people out there are Yenzers watching this program right now, but Najee Harris, rookie and running back, he will go over his DraftKings futures player prop of total rushing yards 1,000.5. They always have a hook.
There's always a point something.
I don't know how you could get exactly 1,000, but they're worried about missing out on money at DK. So a half a yard. By week 15, Najee Harris will pass that mark.
I love that. I mean, that's a good one because, like you said, he's going to get, like, how many touches per game, man. Like, it's only a matter of time before those. Like, some of those might be duds, but he's going to get, like, a specific amount of yards, like, per game.
Yeah, I think too many people are, like, saying this offensive line isn't going to help him much, but people forget, like, the O-line last year wasn't that good either. So, like, I mean, there's only so much that you can do in this case. So I think that Najee will have a great year.
All right. With my number 10, Jameis Winston will be a better fantasy quarterback than Taysom Hill.
Okay.
Dude, listen, I'm telling you, because a lot of people think that Taysom is going to win back this starting job, and I think that Jameis is going to prove a lot of people wrong, and he's going to be the one that starts, leaving Taysom Hill as the bitch boy, once again catching passes.
Yeah, who's going to be the better flex player?
I mean, you could technically there are things where you could put Taysom Hill in as your flex.
Yeah, it happened last year. Deke did it. I think
Yeah.
was it in our league?
Yeah,
He
he did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's 9. Number 10. Josh, what's your number 9?
Number 9, it's Jared Goff in Detroit. It will not be a nice soiree in the Motor City for him. He will go under his player prop future of 4,050.5 passing yards. They brought in a regime that wants to run the ball. The offensive line is bad. Who's playing receiver in Detroit right now? I mean, the depth chart is barren.
The only guy that I know of is Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I'm a fan of him, but I agree with you on this. This is not going to be fun here. And I hate Jared Goff with a passion from the get-go.
And he could get hurt, too. You know, you get the injury part of it with the under, so sign me up.
Deke in the chat is bringing up that Tyrell Williams and Danny Amendola are receivers for them.
Fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Rashad Perryman's there. I mean, I trust TJ Hawkinson more than any of those guys, so... it's funny that you listed Jared Goff as number 9 because my number 9 is also Detroit, but it's in the positive. And I will say a hot take that DeAndre Swift will finish a top 10 fantasy football running back.
I don't hate this, Austin. I liked him coming out of Georgia. I think the problem with last year was that they were still trying to figure out how to work that tailback system, especially with Kerryon Johnson and all that. But I don't think he'll be top 10, but I will say that I think he is going to, I'll say top 15. I will gladly say top 15.
Deke likes this one.
I appreciate it because I think that the kid's going to have a phenomenal year. I mean, they drafted Penei Sewell for a reason.
No, you're misreading that. Deke likes this because he wants to bet against it.
All right, fuck him. Whatever.
I thought he was betting. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Josh,
my bad.
you're number 8.
Number 8, big on the Cowboys this year. You know, Dak's going to be healthy. How could you not be with all the talent? But Ezekiel Elliott, he's back at number 5. I believe he's like number 6 or 7 in the NFFC right now. He's going to jump into that top 5 after a choppy year in 2020.
I mean, I think that's a lot of it went down for the fact that when Dak went down and you brought in Andy Dalton, like the offense very much took a drastic turn. Not just in receivers, but you had a Zeke. I remember having playing against Zeke, I think in our league, Josh, and somebody had him, and that's the game against Washington where he fumbled twice and was benched.
Well, and he had a lot of issues with fumbling, yeah, for sure. And, you know, when you become a one-dimensional offense, you're going to have trouble running the ball. A similar circumstance were the Steelers in 2020. They couldn't run the ball to save their lives because the defense knew that they couldn't do it, and they were just loading up anyway. So don't let recency bias affect you. Ezekiel Elliott is still an excellent running back.
Yeah. With my number 8, I am switching to the defense, and I was saying the 49ers return as the best fantasy football defense, and big and, Nick Bosa has 10+ sacks.
I 100% agree on this one. They had so many injuries last year that I would be very willing to bet on this one.
Yeah. It all comes down for the fact that Bosa can stay healthy. He is a freak of nature.
The only caveat that I would argue on this one is that I could also see, and this might be a dark horse one, but that Chargers defense is a team that a lot of people are sleeping on too, especially Derwin James is healthy. Like, James is a guy that could get you interceptions and sacks. So.
Oh, yeah. Josh, your number 7.
All right, number 7 will be Cole Kmet. Is going to finish as a tight end 1, which means he'll be in the top 12 in his positional group. Jimmy Graham's another year older. He's another year more terrible. I don't think the Bears want to continue to have to use him. They used second-round draft capital on Kmet in 2020, so I'm just going to go ahead and say he makes the leap right now. He was actually tight end 19 from weeks 13 to 17 last year, so you saw the jump kind of happening, and now the rookie year's over for him. So I think he's going to have a big year with Andy Dalton was good with the tight ends in Cincy, or it could be Justin Fields that opens up the offense. So double whammy there.
Mm-hmm. Deke in the comments brings up Adam Troutman is going to have a better year than Cole Kmet.
Oh.
We will see about that. It depends.
But he
If
loves
Taysom
Cole.
Hill's quarterback,
Still loves Cole.
Adam Troutman will never be seen again.
Damn. All right. My number 7. No matter what team, Aaron Rodgers will finish a top 5 quarterback.
Okay.
I agree.
No matter what. If it is the Packers, if it is the Broncos, which that's the team that he's been linked to, he will finish in the top 5. He will continue the fuck you tour, and it will keep on going.
I mean, of any position group, quarterback, they have the easiest time transitioning to new teams, typically. So,
Yeah, I also
100% agree.
I'm also seeing now that he will be in the top 10. So that's my bad for saying top 5. He will be in the top 10, which
Top 5 still a
I
bold
tried
take.
to help you out a little
You
bit.
went even hotter.
I went even hotter. So, Josh, your number 6.
All right, so this one is what's going to piss people off, but Jalen Reagor, he was a first-round investment just a year ago, and he's going to be starting beside Travis Fulgham and Devonta Smith. I think that he has more receiving yards than Devonta Smith in 2021. This guy is supremely talented. He had a bad year in 2020. He was a rookie. Like I said again with Zeke, don't let recency bias run your life. His ADP is going to be so much cheaper on draft day as well. So Jalen Reagor, he's going to do a great job. Side note, yes, I do have dynasty shares that are running my mind.
They're a little
so
bit of a recency
there you go.
bias with this one.
Yeah. Do you see Devontae Smith like having a rough adjustment to the NFL, or is it just like the idea that you think Reagor, because of the fact that he had such a negative rookie year, bad rookie year, that he can only go up after that?
Well, yeah, I mean, he can only go up because he rarely played. He had that foot injury for most of the season, but he was a supreme talent at TCU. That doesn't go away in just 1 year. That whole year he was hurt, he was still taking mental reps. If he's a good student of the game, I could be wrong. He could be lazy. He could suck because he didn't get the physical reps in. But I'm banking on the fact that the talent's still there. Devonta Smith, I think, will be very good in the NFL at times. He reminds me more of a guy like Deshaun Jackson. He's a stringy guy. He doesn't really have the, physique to compete with the modern day NFL cornerback. So I think there could be some tough adjustment period for him.
I love this personally because I still love the fact that the Eagles had a chance to draft Justin Jefferson and they flopped by picking, which you're right, he could have a fantastic bounce back year because he was injured, but you screwed up and took Jalen Reagor instead of Justin Jefferson. I mean, there's video of the Minnesota Vikings draft room and they were cracking their asses up. The fact that they took Jalen Reagor.
That's true. They were very happy they got Jefferson.
And Josh, I love the fact that we never show lists prior to this to each other. We've had 2 back-to-backs with Detroit, and now mine is with the Philadelphia Eagles. And I am saying Devontae Smith will finish the top fantasy wide receiver for rookies. Above Jamar Chase,
You like
I
this
am
one?
saying Devontae Smith.
So one of us is going to look like a jackass. is what you're
Exactly.
saying. Okay,
But
sounds
one of
good.
you will be right.
Yeah, one of you will be right. Yeah, that's very true. I definitely think of the top 3, Jalen Waddle will probably be the one that finishes 3rd in that category, just because I feel like he's going to be the one that has to adjust more, especially with the ankle issue they come up with. But man, Jamar Chase is like him and Joe Burrow. They just have chemistry. I can't bet against him.
There's just so many mouths to feed in that Cincinnati offense, though, man. I mean, even Joe Mixon catches passes out of the backfield. You have him, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins. Burrow's going to have a little bit of a theory congested in his head as to who to throw the ball to. So, number 5, Josh.
All right, number 5, we arrive back in Chicago. David Montgomery finishes the season as a running back 1 again. His NFFC, I didn't have it right in front of me, but he's not going as a running back number 1. I'm stalling for time. That's why I'm stretching out my words here, guys. But he's going running back 19 right now, currently in the high-stakes draft. So
I mean,
he's going to get into the top 12. The reasoning for this, he had an excellent stretch. I know he played easy teams in 2020, but I think I mentioned it earlier. But mobile quarterbacks, the dual threat that they have opens up a lot of lanes for players like Kenyon Drake and Chase Edmonds were with Kyler Murray in 2020. You saw it with Alfred Morris with RG3. Alfred Morris was never the same, so it's very important to have a mobile quarterback for a running back occasionally. Same with J.K. Dobbins. But Justin Fields gets in there week 5, week 6. David Montgomery could be an absolute game changer in your fantasy football league. So something to look at there.
It's not a bad take at all, man. I was a huge proponent of David Montgomery coming out as a rookie, and obviously the offense didn't mesh to his style because the offense was shit. But I think like last year, it was presumed that he would be if you had him in your fantasy football leagues down the stretch, you were most likely making the playoffs if you were not already screwed. So just with his amount of production that he had against bad teams. I will say now my number 5. The Texans and the Lions will be the worst NFL teams, but neither will finish 0-17.
Yeah, I mean, that just seems like a probability front. You know, you're taking the better odds in that scenario. Well, these are still NFL teams, you know. I mean, they're not going to lose every single game.
I was curious how this is fantasy football.
Well, fantasy perspective of like where you draft players perspective. But also, fantasy also has to deal with betting. So you have betting odds. And I personally have I think I remember my pre-ranking of like what the season records would be. I think that I had Detroit at 3-14, and I had the Texans 1-16. With that one team, they would beat the Jacksonville Jaguars once. So.
Don't hate that.
Number 4, Josh.
Yeah, I think I already dropped it earlier on, so there's a bit of foreshadowing. But CeeDee Lamb is going to be this year's Calvin Ridley. He's going to take the leap into being a top 5 wide receiver in this offense. Amari Cooper is good. He's been very good as of recent years, but CeeDee lining up in the slot, he's going to see – not the best coverage because they'll be on Amari Cooper. Michael Gallup's still playing that X role as well on the outside, stretching the numbers. So CeeDee Lamb is going to make a killing underneath. He's supremely talented. He's going to finish as a top 10 wide receiver this season. He's also going to go over his player prop of 1,150 yards if you're in the betting circle.
Especially with a healthy Dak, too, his numbers will definitely go up more this year. We can probably all agree with that. Austin, real quick, Foreigner says, my phone is about to die. Great show, guys. I like Josh's top 10 better.
Yeah.
That good shit.
Josh's stick together, man. Who would have thought?
Still buy a shirt, though. No,
yes, please buy a shirt.
Buy a couple shirts.
Buy all the shirts. All right. My number 4, Josh, I love that we both have Najee Harris stake in this. And I'm going to say that Najee Harris wins Rookie of the Year, and he finishes a top 5 fantasy running back.
Wow.
Yes.
That's big.
That's very big.
That's a big take. You guys got to clip this. If it happens, that's big.
I just, with the amount of, things that are going on in Pittsburgh right now, like, Najee is primed to take hold and dominate like every single defense that he has, specifically because it also manages to Matt Canada's run style. Like, I really believe that he's going to get quite a lot of opportunities. He's going to find the end zone on a numerous amount of occasions. And he's also, I'll put this on the thing too, I think he catches at least 5+ receiving touchdowns.
Well, and just for context, just so I can throw it in here, that's why I freaked out a little bit on Austin, because if he finishes top 5, that means he finishes ahead of 5 of these guys on this group. Nick Chubb, Cam Akers, Austin Eckler, Saquon Barkley, Zeke Elliott, Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, Dalvin Cook, Christian McCaffrey. So if that happens, he's better than 5 of those guys in that list. That would be fantastic.
It's a big take. And like I said, he doesn't have to finish 1. He just has to finish in the top 5.
Could happen.
So I very much believe. I have big faith in this kid. Josh, your number 3.
All right, number 3, if anybody's out in Jacksonville, plug your ears. I think Trevor Lawrence is an excellent player. I think he'll have an excellent career. But year 1, Urban Meyer, to me, is rubbing me the wrong way since he got to Jacksonville. He hired a guy that was not only a piece of shit, but he shouldn't have been hired in the first place. Got fired within a week. I can't even remember his name. He was gone so quickly, but
he
had
the strength
legal
guy.
issues.
Yeah, I can't even remember.
Yeah, and then he's going around saying that he wants Travis Etienne to take receiver snaps and he wants Tim Tebow on his team. This guy might be a one and done NFL coach, and I think rising tide will lift all boats. Well, sinking tide is going to sink every boat, and I think Trevor Lawrence might be trapped in a bad situation here in year one. I think he finishes as a low end quarterback 2, somewhere in the 20 to 24 range. I'm sorry to kill the hype train, guys.
I don't trust this offense around him anyway. So
yeah,
I agree with you on that. If Travis Etienne is the reliable ball carrier running back behind him, maybe I could see some stuff opening up for him, but I have no idea what the hell they're going to be doing with there. I mean, we still have no idea what James Robinson's role is going to be. He was great last year for all we know, but it's like they're shoving him to the side basically.
Well, it's the quote unquote, I use this all the time, even though it's a pretty, I think, poor example, but still, the Philip Lindsay undrafted story where he essentially dominated in Denver, because I drafted Royce Freeman, I think, in the 6th or 7th round.
Same year as I did, bud. I know exactly how you feel.
He got all the touchdowns in the preseason, and then Philip Lindsay comes in and dominates. And now, when Melvin Gordon came in, he was non-existent, and now he's in a Houston backfield that includes him, Mark Ingram, Rex Burkhead, David Johnson. Maybe it's the same thing for James Robinson, and I hate saying that because I really did appreciate what the kid brought, but a lot of that was dump off garbage time from Minshew. Are we going to see that same thing with Lawrence and Etienne, knowing their chemistry? I don't know. So, my number 3, this might also be a hot take, but I'm going to say it. Justin Jefferson finishes the year as the number 1 fantasy football receiver.
I don't hate that, Austin. My caveat with this one is that I think Adam Thielen takes a step back this year in terms of, because I think a lot of his production was based around being in the end zone with regards to that. So Jefferson was the one that was targeted a lot, and I think he'll hit the rookie wall a little bit. I think he's gonna. I don't think he's gonna put up the same numbers as he did last year.
I don't know. It's all to take. Josh, what's your take on that?
I mean, I'm all for the hot take. To scramble the fairies from Fairly Odd Parents reference, but I mean, I don't think so, man. I mean, anytime you take someone against the field, it's just not a good bet to make. That's what makes it a hot take. But you got a guy like Devontae Adams who could very easily be there if Aaron Rodgers stays. Tyreek Hill is still in the prime of his career with Patrick Mahomes. Calvin Ridley and DK Metcalf are there. Michael Thomas should have a better year. I don't know, man. I mean, if it happens, you're going to look like a genius, but I'm not betting on that to happen.
I mean, the hot takes are the hot takes, man. So I appreciate the advice either way. So we'll go to your number 2.
Number 2 for me, a lot of people complaining that the sky is falling for A.J. Brown's fantasy value. I don't think Julio Jones being there really affects it at all, to be honest. The first thing is just the math. Jonnu Smith is gone. Corey Davis is gone. That's a lot of vacated targets in Tennessee with Ryan Tannehill to dole out to somebody. Why wouldn't the first guy in line be A.J. Brown for that? And secondly, you got a big body guy in Julio Jones opposite field. That's going to draw more coverage that A.J. Brown's not used to seeing. I think A.J. still finishes as a top 10 wide receiver in 2021.
And people forget, too, this is a run-first team. This really is a run-first team. They take advantage of the play action a lot with regards to this. So I'm in agreement with you on this. I think Julio's still going to have a great year.
Well, yeah, Julio, A.J. Brown, Josh brings up the fantastic point that Corey Davis is now a New York Jet and Jonnu Smith is with the New England Patriots. I don't really see Anthony Fursker being the tight end that fills that role, whereas Julio Jones, big body receiver, and A.J. Brown, big body receiver, both of them are huge. So this is going to be a very, very good year, I think, for the trio of him, Julio, and Derrick Henry. So I don't hate that take at all, dude. My number 2 is an interesting one. It might be another hot take, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, why are we not surprised?
Yeah. Okay, so number 2, Justin Fields starts first, but Trey Lance will have better fantasy numbers?
Wow. This is intriguing.
Nay. Because I think that both Jimmy Garoppolo and Andy Dalton do not finish the year as the starting quarterback for both respective teams. Trey Lance is a dangerous motherfucker.
I think Trey Lance is in the better situation. I'll give you that. But I don't...
I think he has better weapons to throw to. You have Brandon Ayuk. You have George Kittle. Like, I'll even throw your boy in there, Deebo Samuel.
Thank you.
I think that Justin Fields has a better, some better moves with David Montgomery out of the backfield. And you could even take it from Josh's thing for what he did with Cole Kmet, but also Allen Robinson. But in terms of like a better defense, slowing down the other offense to give Trey Lance more opportunities, hell yes.
I mean, the only thing I worry about with Trey Lance is the division that he plays in, and he's going to play a lot of excellent defenders, with the Seahawks, the Cardinals, and et cetera. But I do trust Shanahan more with a rookie quarterback than I would trust Matt Nagy. And I don't know, it could just be Mitch Trubisky's a terrible, pupil, and Matt Nagy is a genius, but
and people forget.
I like Shanahan in that offense. They have plenty of weapons, like you said, Austin. They're going to be well balanced. They have a lot of good running backs. They also drafted Trey Sermon this year to add to it. So,
yes,
he could also have a lot of rushing yards. Trey Lance has his legs. So does Justin Fields, but not as much as Trey Lance. So those rushing yards, you get a point for every 10. Passing yards are only 1 for every 25. So Trey Lance, he could rack up those rushing yards quick.
Oh, yeah. Greg, you were going to say something, bud?
One of the points I heard, too, you're not wrong about Matt Nagy in any way, but we also have to remember, too, Mitch Trubisky at the end of the season, played well to get them into the playoffs, so there's something there. He might not have been in the right situation for all we know. I would also say, too, I'm in agreement. Lance is going to face a gauntlet, too. And, I mean, we forgot about the Rams, too. The Rams have one of the best defenses in football. So, it's going to be tough for him to go on that route. But I do think he's in the best situation, though.
Well, that entire NFC West division which, Josh, if you had known, we each took a team in the NFC. Myself, our other Josh, Greg, and Derek, each took a team to win in the NFC West. And, I hate to say it, but I picked them just because the amount of beef that they did with the offense and the defense. I took the Arizona Cardinals specifically because of how much they are in very much win now mode. Greg, you took who did you take? Do you remember?
I don't remember how long ago we did this.
Because I know that I don't think Josh, you might have taken the 49ers, because I don't know if Josh took he'd had to take Aaron Donald being a Penn State boy, and I know he was pretty pissed at that.
Yeah.
To have him do that. But that's another conversation for another time. We're at the end. Josh, your number 1 fantasy football prediction.
All right, number 1. And it just happened to be this way, but we're going to be talking the King on the King's Ranking show. Derrick Henry. Historically, when you go over 350 touches in a season as a running back, the result is not so kind the year after. You bring up guys like Arian Foster and Doug Martin, DeMarco Murray, Le'Veon Bell, David Johnson, Christian McCaffrey last year. These guys, they have a set amount of snaps, it seems, they can play before they fall apart. And I know Derrick Henry is a house. He's one of the biggest guys we've ever seen. I think he looks like Predator from the movie Predator. He's just going to go out and start slaughtering people at any moment, turn invisible.
Definitely possible.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to finish below his ADP as the 4th running back. He's going to finish outside the top 4, and he's going to go under his yardage prop this year in Vegas of 1,550.5 total rushing yards. I think the wheels break down just a bit this year for Derrick Henry.
Still a 1,000-yard rusher, though?
Yeah, I mean, he'll still probably get to 12 or 1,300, but I think he finishes outside the top 4 because let's remember, he's not catching passes, so all of this is totally dependent on rushing touchdowns and rushing yards. And he's got to get injured at some point. I hate playing that card, but I just rattled off all those names that went over that threshold of total carries. These guys are human too. Even Derrick Henry, he puts on his pants one leg at a time, just like everybody else. So
no matter how
I
ridiculous,
think the wheels come off.
No matter how ridiculous his workouts are.
Exactly. Still a human being.
I want to point out that the 2 running backs that you had mentioned, I had on my fantasy team that first year, and I had DeMarco Murray and I had Arian Foster.
I'm sorry about that one, fella.
Yeah. Hey, you don't be sorry. It was my first year playing, and I won, so that's all I needed. This might be the most controversial one.
And we've had a lot, so.
We've had a lot from me, but I think this might
Makes sense why it's number 1.
Yeah, makes sense, yeah.
My number 1. Matt Stafford finishes fantasy football quarterback number 2.
Who's number 1?
Mahomes.
Okay.
That's my QB.
But, I mean, we've seen some regression in players like Lamar Jackson. I don't think adding all those wide receivers is going to change it. And I think that Josh Allen takes a step back as well, because now you have all that pressure of essentially putting the team on your back to do it, because it was him and Stephon Diggs. That literally was it. And teams are going to figure that out this year. Like, they're going to realize that, there's no John Brown to cover. Cole Beasley's not going to be a big threat. And you have guys like Gabriel Davis they're going to be zoomed in on Stephon Diggs this year. And Josh Allen can run all he wants, but sooner or later, like I said, when Lamar had his big year, teams are going to recognize the scheme. And that's exactly what happened this year with Lamar, like, despite still providing great numbers. But I think that Matt Stafford and Sean McVay, in an offense that includes Cam Akers, Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Tyler Higbee, Stafford now has all the pieces to succeed, where he put up great numbers in a shitty Detroit system. Like,
on Austin, and this is also a system with McVay where Jared Goff managed to throw for over 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns 2 or 3 years ago. I can't remember off the top of my head, but he had a real good year. And Jared Goff is terrible.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You can't read past the second guy.
Welcome to the club, Josh. Welcome to the club.
I'm 110% with you. So
thank you.
I had to pull up Stafford's stats just to see if it was even feasible for him to get to that mark. It's really hard for a quarterback that doesn't run very much to get to number 2. You've seen Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen get to that total because they run the ball a lot in the red zone as well. But, I mean, Stafford's had years where he's been at, 4,900 yards. To be number 2 and not run, he's going to have to throw for over 4,800 and throw about 35 touchdowns.
Yeah,
it's very possible to do. I just worry about Cam Akers and how much they'll give him the ball. But love Stafford. He's got a wide open field after years and years in the black hole in Detroit. So I love this for him.
Yeah, Deke says if you can't run and your name isn't Aaron Rodgers, you ain't top 5.
Well, we'll guess
with fantasy at least, yes.
Right.
But Stafford, he's always consistent every year in fantasy.
That's fair.
So with a good team around him, it's possible, I think.
And again, let's not. I mean, he was being coached by Jim Caldwell at times, but still, like, Matt Patricia was calling plays for him. Like, it's just with McVay, the brainchild mastermind of the computer age, like, he is very much in line to have a very successful year. And yeah, it's a hot take. I know all of these are, but he's very much on. I'll call it a fuck you tour 2.0, because I think that he's going to show everyone that despite being in a very underground, shitty Detroit system, that he is going to have so much to prove at his age and be the quarterback number 2.
Okay.
That was very enjoyable, Josh. I appreciate it. We'll put these on social, and we'll see if you have the knowledge to knock off the king.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see if I can get the fantasy industry in there to vote for the fantasy guests.
Well,
I feel good about it.
You know how that's going to work for you. I mean, if you put it for the actual fantasy, then that's fine. I might have a shot. But if you put it with, like, our group of fantasy, no one's voting for me for a shit.
That's
I was
very
also
accurate.
thinking I could just retweet it from the SiriusXM fantasy account, which has like 150,000 followers.
That would be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
That could work.
That would work. Essential. Josh, the last couple of minutes are yours, good sir. You've been a wonderful guest for probably our longest show yet, but probably one of our most enjoyable.
We'd still be drafting left tackles at this point too, possibly.
Take a center. So the last couple minutes are yours, sir, if you would like to plug anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need a ton of time. Thanks for having me on, obviously. We've been thinking about putting this together forever, so I'm glad I was before Chico and Cups. I feel respected in that regard. So good luck with them later on. You know, great stuff. You guys put off awesome stuff. I follow Thoughts from the Bench Have for a long time, so appreciate all the content creation. I'm a producer myself, so it's a lot of long hours. I understand it. It's a grind, but got to keep to it. All I'm going to plug is, you know, I work most weeknights from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. on that shift, mainly Alarm After Hours with SiriusXM Fantasy, Series 210 XM87. You're welcome, Fensty, for the free promotion for the show. And then I'm also a content provider. Did a lot of hockey betting this year over at Wager Alarm. It's a sister site of fantasyalarm.com. Going to be doing baseball and football in the near days, and if you want to throw some money around and be a DGen with me, go ahead and sign up, subscribe for us.
You know, we're all about that betting here, especially myself and Denny, very bet heavy.
Well, especially someone who doesn't put his own money into it and just likes to continuously use stuff just recycles basically. Yeah.
All right. I mean, when you're that good, I mean, it just happens.
Wow.
But Josh, thank you once again, good sir. Wonderful show. Loved having you on, and love to see what we'll provide and everything for the future with this. I'm excited for our fantasy football draft. Got to decide the drafting still, and got to decide the punishment, because this year is going to be one to remember. Thank you to all our loyal viewers for tuning in and paying attention to what we have. This is a great show, and that's all I can say. Thank you again. And at this point, oh yeah, buy a shirt. Buy a goddamn shirt.
Don't forget.
I guess win the competition. Josh, buy a shirt. So, until then, court is adjourned.
Court is adjourned.